Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to my crime crunchies. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I am Courtney C., and we are Crime Crunchies. You are my little true crime crunchy, hungry crunchies, and we're going to have a great afternoon with some updates. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I'm also going to be getting an X account live, and the channel is down below, but I don't think it's live yet. But please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is my main channel. So, oh my gosh, you guys, day 24 of Nancy Guthrie being missing, and just awful. We have another update from the beautiful Savannah Guthrie. I have been thinking about the family. I actually honestly spend more time thinking about how the family is spending their days. They haven't really been public. They haven't done any interviews. Really, the only way that they have been public with this is via Savannah's Instagram. And, you know, I just have to wonder how they're spending their days. I know that there was some news people capturing video of Savannah's husband arriving at the Tucson airport, but, you know, I don't know if he's still there. I am very conscientious of the fact that Annie, you know, she's just miles away from her home, and she can't even go home. They're still sequestered in a gated community, and their lives are completely upended. So really just still thinking about the family. The investigation, people are not calling it cold. It's far too early, even though it's day 24. It's far too early to call this cold. People are saying that it's cooling. And, you know, we're not exactly sure what's going on behind the scenes, but we do have from a few sources, past FBI agents on different podcasts and whatnot, news specials, that they are returning FBI or federal assets back to their home locations just because there's nothing for them to do. They've kind of already shaken the tree with the most obvious low-hanging fruit. And, you know, some of the SWAT raids that they've done, we're not sure exactly what that yielded, especially in the second one with the Range Rover. So, you know, some things to think about that Range Rover, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in depth here in a moment. But I first want to just start today off with the latest Instagram post by Savannah Guthrie, and, you know, just how they must be processing this. And they've actually have upped the reward to up to $1 million just from the family. And I am imagining that that's in addition to any reward. I think that the official reward from the FBI is $100,000, and then there is a missing person coalition from, I think, Minnesota or Michigan that offered another $100,000, and then I think there's like 2,000 from somewhere. So it's like 202,000 for that reward. But the Guthrie family is offering up to $1 million for the return of their mother, regardless of how she comes back. And honestly, I think that's the right thing to do at this point. They need that closure. And, you know, I think they should have offered it a little bit sooner, but it doesn't matter. They're doing it now, and they're processing this the best way that they can. And obviously, not having ever been in that situation, I'm certainly not passing any judgment. You know, just supporting them, completely supporting them. So let me share my screen, and let's watch this together, and I'll get this going. And if you're watching, if you can please let me know in the comments if you're not able to hear any sound, just because there's been some weird glitches on the YouTube. So let's watch Savannah. Okay. Oh, so heavy. I mean, so my thoughts on this are this is actually it's actually a really good time because tips have dried up. I think that the biggest, foothold that they got was really when they took the Range Rover from the Culver's parking lot, and there's suspicion that the history with that Range Rover is such that it had been sold at a dealership to the person who had the Range Rover, but I think that they were more interested in the person who sold the Range Rover. If there was some evidence or DNA in the back of the Range Rover, then somebody could have immediately sold it to get it out of their hands. But I mean, it's not hard to trace ownership of a vehicle. I mean, that's super easy. But if you recall, the night that they took the Range Rover, they did have the yellow sheet that they were holding it up in the back, and they were probably swabbing or taking some forensics uh, material from the back of that Range Rover. So we have to wonder if maybe that Range Rover hadn't been seen on some neighbors' ring cams, and exactly what's going on with the Range Rover, considering it had just been sold at a local dealership. So there was kind of a flag there. But also with the Guthries putting out this new reward of up to $1 million, and it's really for the recovery of Nancy Guthrie. And obviously the family understands that she may come back in a different way that they want or whatever could ever dream possible in their lifetime. But this is going to get the tip line phones ringing again, and $1 million for just the recovery. I mean, they're not even asking. This particular reward is not for the apprehension and the you know guilty verdict of somebody who's behind this. They're just asking for, if you call and tell us where she is and we can recover her, then we will pay a reward of up to $1 million. And that's exactly what I would do. $1 million is enough to make somebody's girlfriend, somebody's roommate that heard something, the gossip mill. That's enough to make somebody call in anonymously and say, I'm not going to give you my name, but here's what I know, and this is where I think you can go find her, and at least give the family closure, because I think that that's the worst thing here at this point, is not having that closure and always wondering. And I think it's wonderful that the Guthrie family has donated $500,000 to the missing and exploited net. It's NCMEC, the National Missing and Exploited Children's charity, that really helps to get those kids that are missing. Because again, the only thing worse than having an 84-year-old mother in this situation is a child. And there's so many people who go their entire lives not knowing where their loved one is. So I think that that is absolutely amazing that she's done that. I want to go to some commentary on NewsNation, talking a little bit more about the reward. So let me add that in, and we'll get that going. Just I lost my monitor, you guys. What? No, Crunchy Town, no. All right, sorry about that. Of course, there's, technical difficulties happen and are going to happen. So yeah, so it's brutal. It's brutal that they have put this offer together, this reward for up to $1 million for the recovery of their mother's remains. And again, this is not for a conviction of anybody. This is just to get their mother back. And I think that it's fabulous that they're doing that. I think it's the right thing to do. I would love to see NBC host of the owner of the Today Show uh, plop some more money in that. We'll see what happens. But $1 million that's life-changing money for anybody that does know something. And maybe this is going to get the phone to ring. Maybe this is what is needed to just kind of get this refreshed, because the sheriff, I don't know what you guys think about the sheriff. I think he's a ding dong. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. I think he's a ding dong. I think he's on a whole other different wavelength than the FBI. I really wish he would just hand it over. He says one thing one day, he says another thing the next day. And to me, somebody who doesn't have consistent messaging either doesn't know what they're doing or they're being deceitful. Somebody who doesn't say the same thing over and over again consistently is somebody who's deceitful. And the fact that there are a few things that he said that he's come out with that he didn't know about and he wasn't aware of are really odd. That the first one of the first or second videos that Savannah Guthrie came out with on Instagram looked like it had been scripted by what people had reported was like a hostage negotiator. And I mean, it looked like they were reading off of something that somebody had put together, a professional, probably with the feds. And the sheriff was interviewed that night, and the interviewer asked him, what do you think about this latest video from the Guthrie family? And he said, oh, well, my wife told me about that. I had no idea that they even put this video out. And it's like, okay, how do you not know? That was just a really odd thing. How do you not know that they were going to be putting a video out? It would seem to me that if you're in charge of the investigation, that you would know that somebody's working with them and scripting something that's important to, to reach out and, humanize Nancy Guthrie, reach out to the emotions of the person behind this. So, and then the other thing that seems weird, and then the next topic I want to cover is this video. This is kind of this latest thing that's come out, not the video, the image, okay? The image of I'm not sure what to call him. I guess I don't know if he's an abductor or the robber, just the person, the suspect, okay? I call him the Walmart Wrangler because he's wearing Walmart gear. So the Walmart Wrangler, there is, of course, the video that everybody has seen of the Walmart Wrangler coming up to the door. But there's been this other image, a still image that the FBI had put out a while ago now, because I've talked about this image a couple times, that, the Walmart Wrangler comes up, he's, fully loaded, all decked out, got this big, full, fluffy backpack, the ski mask, the gloves. And then there's an image in the same, front entry. I mean, this is with the bricks and everything and the plants behind, of the person in the same jacket and pants, but he doesn't have the backpack. So I was speculating that the image of the Walmart Wrangler without the backpack may have been after they fiddled with the camera, they took the backpack off and went back, and maybe they were doing something with the shrubbery again, and that the picture was of the same night of the Walmart Wrangler, but sans backpack. But oh no, apparently the picture of the Walmart Wrangler is from January 11th. on Nancy Guthrie's ring cam, and he was obviously doing a recon of the area. So this had been in the works for several weeks, which is, even worse. It's like this was clearly a target. This goes back to now I'm thinking again, because the math doesn't math on this case, but this makes me think that this could be, 2 degrees of separation from Nancy. It could be a home health worker that might have mentioned that Nancy has XYZ in the home, and that the Walmart wrangler was reconning to see if this was a job he could do. So again, I'm kind of going back toward more of a burglary situation, and that the January 11th was the Walmart wrangler, checking out the situation to see what the neighborhood looks like. It's very dark out there. There's no lights. But if you look at the pictures, I'm going to play this video that's probably going to show both images. If you look in the background of this image, this is from January 31st to February 1st. This is the Walmart wrangler coming up to the house and then going to make entry. You can see that the sky, there's some lights back there, probably from a neighbor. And the sky is kind of lighter. Maybe it was more of a full moon that night. And then people have pointed out that the shoes in the picture from January 11th look different. So this is very organized. And the first time the Walmart wrangler shows up, he didn't have the backpack. He has the same ski mask, the same jacket and pants. They say the shoes were different, but people are acting like this image from January 11th is kind of a new crack in the case, but I actually disagree with that, because the picture of the Walmart wrangler without the backpack has been out as long as this video has been out of the Walmart wrangler coming to the door with the shrubbery and everything. And the FBI had that earlier video. That was one that Google had actually scraped off the picture of Sam's backpack along the same time that they released this video with the backpack. So this is it's not a new situation, and people acting like, in my opinion, people acting like this is brand new information. I don't think that that's accurate. I think that the FBI has known for a while, and if they could have gotten anything from the combination of the two videos, they probably already have it. And again, it's going to rely on the DNA, which is an entirely different story and speed bump. But again, talking back to the sheriff, the FBI, there are FBI sources that have told Brian Enton, Ashley Banfield, there's someone from ABC who's been told this. They've got, supposedly different FBI or law enforcement sources that are saying, yes, this is from January 11th. This is the second time that this person had been there. And then somebody interviews the sheriff yesterday and talks about this picture. And here's what he says. Sheriff said the implication that one of the photos was taken on a date before Guthrie's disappearance is speculative, and that he's not aware of anything. And it's just, does this guy, what is he doing? I don't know if he's just so contrary to the FBI and maybe they just rub him wrong, that anything they say, he's going to act like is not a big deal. And, because I think he's got a big ego from what we've heard, and wants to be in charge. And these are my toys. I'm going to take them home. So, I can't even listen to him anymore. I don't take anything that the sheriff says as really anything important. And again, I really wish the FBI would take this case on 100%. As I mentioned before, the FBI has sent a lot of their assets back to their home divisions, and they're on the ready, meaning if they get any new leads, they can be back to Phoenix. Apparently within 6 hours, they probably pulled from LA, San Francisco, Dallas. Very easy to get into Tucson from any of those areas. And, it makes sense to just have maybe the best of the best stay boots on the ground and work the rest of these leads, especially with Savannah releasing, the latest update for their reward. Maybe they're going to get some tips. Maybe we'll see some more SWATs. Maybe we will. Really, at this point, I would just be happy with them getting their mother back, and in whatever condition that is. So let's take a look at this video here, and we'll see if I can get this going without my monitor blowing up. All right, let me start. Okay. So yes, just odd. All right, now where am I? Here we go. There we go. Hello. Just odd. That sheriff is just, I don't get it. Maybe there's a method to his madness, which is very possible. And again, I mean, I wish nothing more than him to come out and say, surprise, I played like a dodo this entire time, but we had all this stuff going on and, behind the scenes. And I actually do know what I'm talking about, but he really just sounds like he does not know what he's talking about. Either that, or he just loves being contrary to the FBI. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure. All I know is he's not a very good person to put out front. He's very busy doing that interview circuit, busy, busy, busy. But we just can't put together an organized press conference, which is weird. If they just came out and had their PIO come out, once a day for 15 minutes, give an update of where they are, what they've gathered, the latest from the day. People could ask a couple questions, most of which they probably couldn't answer, and then walk away. I think that would feed the beast. But instead, he's saying, no, I'm not going to do a press conference because there's nothing to tell. And yet he's doing all these interviews with everybody. So again, that just kind of, that tells me he's got a little bit of an ego going on. And I don't know. I don't have I'm pro law enforcement. I'm sure that the rank and file are wonderful people. If I lived there, I'd be helping. I'd be that group who, even without permits, are going out and looking for her in the tunnels and everything. Brian Enton did a show the other night where he went and took people through some of the tunnels for the wash areas that volunteer searchers have been looking. And you know, I think that's wonderful. But the sheriff is just he's just kind of a goon, if you ask me. So I just want to remind everybody to please make sure that you are liking and subscribing. It is completely free to do so. It really helps out the algorithm and helps get my videos up front. I have been watching the Corey Richins trial on court TV and got through day one yesterday. Really was just going to make a couple comments about it because I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not really a big fan of Corey Richins at this point, but I would say that the most interesting testimony was definitely by her past husband's sister yesterday. But I don't know. I don't have much hope, but she looks pretty guilty. I don't think it's gonna be rocket science. So I was gonna put together some notes and probably do a summary tonight on Corey Richins and day 2, probably just a quick summary of day 1 and 2 later tonight. And then of course, if there's any other updates on Nancy Guthrie and the family, gosh, I hope to see something. Maybe they'll get the phone ringing again. $1 million is a lot of money for somebody to call in anonymously and just say, look, I know where she's at. That would be amazing. You know, whether they actually crack the case, solve the case, I think they just want their mom back. And at this point, that's really my biggest hope for them. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, my little hungry true crime crunchies. Again, I am Courtney C., your host. Please remember to subscribe and like, and I will be back soon with more live content. And until then, take care, and you guys can crunch, 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 crunch. We will see you all next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.